Good afternoon. I hope this weekly E-News finds you well on this day, and thanks to Michael for helping me record this video. Last weekend was the Minnesota Conference United Church of Christ annual meeting. I am the moderator of the conference and helped moderate that meeting and will be moderator for one more year. Last weekend was also a weekend in which we heard terrible and horrific and traumatic news about the assassination of Senator Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, as well as the assassination attempt of Senator John Huffman and his wife Yvette. It was terrible news to endure and to hear. And we're also mindful of being in that space and to hear those words together. Last weekend, the theme for the conference was together, leaning into the text of Ephesians 4, verse 12, where we are called to equip the saints together to do the work of Jesus the Christ, to do the work of the church. And so it's in these moments we're mindful that when we hear this kind of news, when we're called to do this type of work, it's better together than apart. Recently, I was asked the question, how do you know God is there? And my response to a question such as that is, I don't know what it feels like not to have God there. Because the so what in that type of question is community. It's in community where I see the active presence of God at work when we are together. That when we have all different experiences, when we walk into this space or when we go out into the world, we may not always understand one another, and especially as a community of faith, we are coming at faith at different streams. But when we gather together, we may not always understand, but at least we can hold it. We can hold that notion of the presence of the holy. So when we gather together as the collective, what binds us together is that element of love. It's love. It's the love that Jesus talks about. It's the love that was passed on through the commandment. It's the love that's held together by the rush of that Pentecost spirit that was felt a few weeks ago and continues to run around inviting us to be present together, to know one another, to share in words of empathy and compassion, because when we show empathy and compassion, that means we are getting to know one another a little bit and to acknowledge our humanness and to know that we are each made in the image of God, that we're uniquely made in the image of God, and to be mindful that in our uniqueness, that does not make us bad. It makes us different and beautiful and something to be celebrated. I'm also mindful that when we are together as the body of Christ, that what we are able to do and to accomplish is a beautiful thing. When I think about the ways in which we pack meal bags for kids at our local school to make sure that they have food for over the weekend, or when I think about what our other churches, our other UCC churches, and even other denominations in our neighborhood, the various gifts and programs that each of our churches are doing, knowing that there is so much going on out there that when we pool our resources together, we know that the body of Christ is at work, allowing us to know that the gospel comes alive, that love comes alive, and that love continues to win. So, friends, this little message for today is just to be mindful that what we do matters. When we come to this space each week, it matters. That we help hold one another in our grief and our loss, and also in our joy and our greatest celebrations. We are a congregation here For 130 years, we've seen a lot in our history. May we continue to be kind with one another, to pause, to breathe, and to know that there is a deep and abiding love. May this ENews on this day find you well, and may God's light and love be with you always. I hope to see you real soon.